Greetings, Black family, and welcome to SBL Talk. That's Straight Black Love Talk. I am your host, DC Radical One, and give me a second to get the proper banner and the proper music, which I actually forgot what is the proper music for this show. I don't see it. Here we go. To make adjustments. First of all, how is everyone this evening? It is after 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West. Some people way down south are actually an hour ahead. And some people on the continent, it's the middle of the night. So wherever you are, or whenever you listen to this, I hope you gain some value in the discussion. I'll be frank. I'm only doing this show because, the situation's critical for our people. And I don't think that we see it that way, but I see it that way. Now, there are times when I would like to be wrong. And this is one of those times. But I doubt that. So, Brother You Got Ripped Off has given me the one, which means everything is clear as far as the audio quality. And first of all, let me greet everybody. BB48 to Brother You Got Ripped Off, BB48 to Brother Elijah, and the BB48 to Sister Najee. So, for whatever reason, we got more people showing than have bothered to greet us. Give people a few minutes. Y'all know how this is. This is interactive. The more interaction and participation we have, the longer the show goes. The less we have, the shorter the show is. I just find it interesting that when you open up and give people an opportunity to interject their thoughts, they don't show up. But when you want people to listen more than they speak, everyone has something to say. It's the current state of our community, I guess. So let me start off with the official, well, it's not official yet, but we'll start off with the Straight Black Oath. You don't have to repeat after me. You can repeat silently. And we're going to start with all of our SBL talk shows are going to start like this. It says, I pledge allegiance to my own Black self-respect and to the respect of all other straight, Black, and proud people on planet Earth, all of whom are victims of global Zionist hegemony and white domination. And I pledge to use all my life's energy, intelligence, and creativity in all areas of people activity to eradicate the system of Zionist hegemony and white domination on planet Earth and throughout the known universe, and to replace it with the system of Mayat, which is truth, justice, righteousness, and reciprocity, so that the eternal survival and eventual dominion of Black African people can be ensured on planet Earth and throughout the universe for all eternity. So help me God and our beloved warrior ancestors. Ashe. So tonight's discussion is centered around Black love in the social media age. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is the effects of social media. And even though I don't have it included in the presentation, I may talk about the dating apps thing as well a little bit. But things have changed since the old days. And we're going to discuss whether that's beneficial or detrimental. And, do some analysis to see what we say. So I got a few slides to discuss. And I actually did have an article or two that I want to go through. Excuse me, that I have not. Let's see, do I even have those? I don't know if I even have those to put up. But come on, brother, you jumping ahead. The answer to that is no. And I'm gonna put your question up in a moment, just because you put it up, because someone is probably thinking it, being completely honest. Got that. So yeah, that's the topic of discussion for tonight. And I decided to bring this back from our previous discussion because I was like, you know what? The optimum result of a interaction between black men and black women, or a black man and a black woman, or a black man. Yeah, the optimum for a black man and a black woman. The optimum, meaning the highest, is a marriage that results in black family, which carries on a lineage and hopefully produces a healthy black nation. So that's the optimum. That's the highest you can get, right? So I'm going to reread this again. Cultural importance of marriage. In traditional African and traditional African American culture, it should be a comma there, but anyway, marriage was an expected part of adulthood. And we talked about last week how the percentage of married adults in our community and throughout the United States has decreased steadily for an assortment of reasons, which we discussed last week, and we will not relitigate that matter. And if you were, let's see, in many African societies, you were not considered an adult if you were not married. Family was considered the foundational institution of the society. There was no debate about the equality of men and women, as each had their jobs to do for the benefit of the society. One thing we see online now is the endless debate about the endless 50-50 debates, the endless who pays all the bills debates, the you should pay for all the dates debates, the you should pay my bills while we're dating debate, which has a new one on me. I've seen that and ad nauseum. Right? Nowhere in any of this discussion is there anything about actual marriage duties and everything is quote unquote dating. So apparently dating is just supposed to continue ad infinitum, which of course we know is incorrect. I told a brother, I said, it was a long time ago, I said, when I really looked at it, and I had to ask Bob Baruti, he'd be more of an expert. I said, I don't actually find dating to be an African concept. It pretty much seems to be a European concept, which kind of explains then why it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Why it largely doesn't work. So, yeah, this just to point out or as a reminder that the importance of marriage, and marriage is something, the reason why a lot of people don't like to talk about marriage is because it's something beyond the individual, right? You don't get married just for yourself, because in traditional African societies, marriage isn't a thing between two people, right? And just in nature, it's like, if you think about it, right, innately, like, we don't like to think about this. Marriage is a coming together of two families, right? Because it was designed, two people come together. The two people come together. When they come together, when they eventually reproduce, that child is going to be part of each of those two families that those two people come from. So by the creation of the child, the bonding of the two people is cemented, and the bonding of the two families is cemented, right? So when people, like, sometimes I hear, like, there seems to be, at least just from my perception of what I see online, this perception that somehow marriage is more of a commitment than having a child with someone. But you're bonded to the person that you have the child with for life, regardless if you're married or not. So avoiding the benefits of marriage doesn't actually make sense when you think of it, right? But yet people continue to go down that road even after watching other people. You know, it's like driving down a winding road in the snow, and you see people just keep going off the cliff, and they got SUVs and stuff, and you driving a sports car, and you're like, well, my sports car can make it because it's faster. It's like, yeah, you're just gonna drive faster over the cliff and join the rest of the people. You know what I'm saying? So that is that. Next, how has social media changed dating? And whether you got ripped off as, does OnlyFans count as a dating app? No. But does it count as social media? Now that is, does it? Like, I don't even know what that quantifies as. I think you could place that in a social media realm, right? Which is that opens up a whole nother discussion. But anyway, that is it. All right, here's some of the things I noticed. If y'all got anything to add to it, let me know. And these are in no particular order. Social media gives the illusion of endless dating options. One thing that I've seen from a lot of women online is they'd be interviewed and they'll talk about how, in essence, how many dudes are in their DMs, right? And be before the to Brother Tony. All right, hold on, stop. I got a question. Hold on. Where are the sisters with this discussion? Right? Just curious. Does anybody have an idea where the sisters are for this discussion? Not just the one tonight, but starting from last week. I'm noticing more brothers than sisters, even for this show, even more than for the center. Like, anybody have any ideas, right? Like, even some of our sisters that normally show up, they don't show up for this show. Like, is it the topic or is it the time? Like, what's really going on? I got that question, but I digress. Let me get back. So, um, yeah, the endless dating option, as I was saying. I almost lost my train of thought. I see sisters talking about, because it's mostly sisters, but I don't really pay attention to what European females are talking about because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, other than how it affects the thinking of Black women. I see you, Sister Najee. You holding down the fort for all the Black women tonight. Like, I'm just saying. So, I see sisters, like, like kind of braggadocious before they to D. Clinton. Like, I can replace this man with another man, and dudes is always in my DMs, and all that stuff. And I forgot to put this in writing here, but I'm gonna say this. I heard a woman say this, and I knew it, but the way she articulated it, I didn't. She expressed it in a way I was like, that simplifies what I've been thinking. And this isn't women's fault. This is just, I don't know, I guess part of the psychology of women or whatever, what I'm about to say. But one thing I realized, it took me a long time to realize, it took me a long time to be able to articulate it, right? And some men kind of know this instinctively, and those men tend to be players, right? Readings to Asafo. Women have a hard time distinguishing between attention and intentions, right? Again, I heard a woman say this, and that's the way she stated it, and it crystallized what I knew, but could not articulate. Like, and I knew it years ago just from interacting with women. And so, with that, social media enhances that confusion and leads women to do things that are ultimately detrimental. Because if you're attractive, you're gonna have a lot of dudes in your DMs. If you're physically attractive, you're gonna have a lot of dudes trying to holler at you at the grocery store and the bank. And if you dress up and go to the club, so forth and so on, right? That doesn't mean that you have a lot of options for if the end goal is marriage. Now, if the end goal is not marriage, then it doesn't matter. But if the end goal is marriage, then the attention does not equate to the intentions. And regardless of what anyone thinks, for any woman, no matter how magnificently beautiful she is, the attention will never equate to the intentions. And what I mean by that is the number of men whose attention you grab by your physical appearance or whatever it is that is magnetic towards men, draws men to you. The percentage of men who then will have intentions towards you is greatly diminished. We're talking about possibly, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but let's just say for the discussion, before they to a Molokai, let's say 10 to 20%, 10 to 25%, right? So, all right. So let's do it like this. And don't take these numbers as exact, but let's just say if a sister gets on average 10 dudes a day that try to, pardon me, sister. If a sister on average gets 10 dudes a day and I know this is a low number for some of you all. It's like you probably can't even count, who try to interact with you in person and online. Of those 10 per day, which is 70 per week, which is 280 per month. Of those 280 per month who are physically attracted, probably 28 actually want to pursue something outside of the bedroom. Out of 280, 28. Of those 28, probably 7 will want to pursue something long-term beyond who would take the concept of marriage with that individual system seriously. So out of the 280, probably 7 would be serious, and most sisters would bypass 5 of those 7 and not take them seriously, right? It's just the nature of the thing, because now social media gives the illusion of so many more options, and it expands the attention that even the average sister gets, right? It just expands because you're able to reach more people, you're seen by more people, you're able to interact with more people, so it expands it. But it's a quantity thing. The quantity of men's attention you're going to get is greater. The quality of men's attention that you're going to get is not greater. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that I want sisters to be able to understand about how social media works, right? So that's one. It gives the illusion of endless dating options, and it gives the illusion of endless dating options to men as well, because you just see women. Sometimes you see just from a physical standpoint, a quality of women that you don't see every day. And it makes you like, oh, well, these type of women are out here. And that means, now it doesn't mean anything, right? Because you may live somewhere where those women simply don't exist. That type of woman with that type of look exists where they exist. They may exist, depending on what you like, in LA or Miami or New York or Dominican Republic or Ethiopia or, you know what I'm saying, South Africa or Brazil or whatever, you know what I'm saying, wherever. That type of woman exists there. That doesn't mean they exist in Chicago or Texas or, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So the social media gives the illusion of this endless and vast array of available mates. That's one of the downsides. So even if you don't think, because sometimes you hear people say, well, there are, however many men there are on the planet, however many billions, or there are billions of men or billions of women. Yeah, but you don't have access to those, and you don't have anything in common with those people. You don't even speak the languages of some of these people. So their existence is of no relevance or significance in your life at all. Excuse me, but the social media gives that illusion, right? Point number 2. Well, first of all, hold on. Brother Safo says, in the last 72 hours, I watched your Too Much Not Enough Wives, Why Straight Black Love So Hated, Brother's Guide to Dating, The Sister Speak, and last Thursday's episode. You're spot on. And then he says, this is Safo speaking, this is not me. He says that women hate to admit that I'm spot on. Hey, I don't know that. I haven't heard a woman say, I disagree with DC. They have not showed up for this discussion, but that don't mean they disagree. Maybe they disagree. They know what I'm saying. They like, I know what he's gonna say. I'm gonna take a nap, or I'm gonna watch the Olympics, or whatever people are doing right now. Right? I'm going to watch some clothes, whatever. But I appreciate that though. Let's see. Social media gives traumatized people a megaphone to spread divisive narratives about the complementary ship. Listen, listen. Let me tell you something. I see more people speak from their trauma than from actuality about relationships than about anything else. We don't even speak from our trauma as Black people against our enemies as much as we do against each other when it comes to this relationship. And you can hear it, and sometimes you can see people's triggers, and it's like, before, this what it has changed. Before, like, the women have always been like, men XYZ, right? And just, they throw the blanket on all men, and like, that's been going on literally as long as I can remember, right? And before, men would say certain things about how they think women are, but it wasn't always negative. Now, in the social media age, the men have thrown the blanket back on the women. So it's like all women XYZ. And I look at this stuff and I'm like, I know we're confused right now, we're lost right now, but I'm like, you just not old enough to remember when women wasn't acting like that. The women wasn't thinking like that. The women wasn't doing certain things. There just was a time when that wasn't the case. And just so happened that in that time, a higher percentage of women were getting married. And the society was encouraging marriage, and it was seen as more beneficial. And so saying that the dysfunction of today is the nature of men or women is false. Like, the society is being torn down from the inside out. And you see the condition of the house and think, well, the house was built poorly. Like, no, someone's really like tearing up the structure of the house and taking a sledgehammer to the walls. And you're saying the house is built poorly. No, the house is not built poorly. The house is being destroyed, right? And so, again, traumatized people with a megaphone. How many people, like, it seems like every time I look at somebody that says something negative, like, let's say a Black woman has something negative to say about Black men, the amount of responses and the amount of views and likes is always higher than if they say something positive, right? My sister say something positive about Black men. I mean, it'll get some views, it'll get some likes, but the amount of attention and like this is crazy. I just thought about it, because YouTube right now is littered with reactions to stuff from TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't even have, people aren't even doing creative things, coming up with their own thoughts and ideas. They're reacting to other people and reacting to other people from other platforms. You know what I'm saying? That's how bereft of thought this thing has become, right? So you'll see people react to something negative, but I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm not saying that no one doesn't, but y'all tell me, when the last time you seen somebody react to something positive that a Black woman said about Black men, or something positive that a Black man said about Black women? Like, when the last time you seen a reaction video to that, right? And here's the thing, if somebody did make a reaction video to a woman saying something positive, they probably made a negative reaction. They probably got a negative reaction from the people in the comments to the positive reaction video. That's how turned upside down and inside out we are on social media, right? So yeah, that's another issue. You know, that social media megaphone for negativity. X, again, this show's interactive, so after we get through this, we'll open it up for discussion. Whether you got ripped off, remind me at 10 to put the link in the chat. Social media encourages a herd mentality where a mass of people think alike, look alike, and act alike. I don't even think that has to be even discussed. Like, so many people, like, everybody does reaction videos now. Like, people do reaction videos so much that it's not even like nothing to react to. So many sisters rocking what I call the tranny. And one thing that's weird, I saw a sister say this, and it was weird. Her question was, why do men go for the plain Janes, right, instead of the, I guess, bad B's or whatever? The young sister. And so when she said it, I'm looking at her, and I'm not saying she was bad looking, but like, she was not like this. She wouldn't be considered top tier of women, despite the enhancements, right? And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not sure you're the person to ask that question. I'm just saying. But one of the things I realize now is, since the days of Kevin Samuels, and we'll get to him shortly, the days of Kevin Samuels and his rating system and all this stuff, right, is that a weird phenomenon is taking place where women put themselves or have put themselves on that Kevin Samuels rating scale in essence, but they're doing it based upon how they look with all their enhancements, which is weird because the rating system in essence came from him. Part of his rating system is what you look like without all the enhancements, right? So it's just funny to observe, because I was just like, this thing has just lingered on, but even corruption has been corrupted by social media, right? So it is, and when you observe it, is you have to laugh at the insanity of the whole thing, right? Now, next, social media algorithms keep people in a loop of reinforced beliefs. The algorithm is meant to feed you stuff that you already like. If you sit around and you like a bunch of stuff by a bunch of dudes who spend all day saying negative stuff about black women, the algorithm will feed you more stuff saying negative stuff about black women. And Sister Najee says what she calls plain Jane, another which most black men call natural beauty. Right. That. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Man, that's it. Like, in this era, man. Excuse me while I go on a tangent here. Y'all know how I get. In this era, the homophile, the homosexual male who is competing with women, has convinced women that imitating his look is enhancing her womanhood or femininity, when in actuality it's enhancing his ability to masquerade as her and thus compete with her to the point of claiming to be able to replace her. But if the vast majority of women, especially black women, embrace their natural beauty, it would end the competition and expose the reality of who's cosplaying as a woman, right? So women would end this competition by, as Elijah Muhammad once said, accepting your own and being yourself. But they've been tricked into being other than themselves, and all you really see is men complaining that the women won't be themselves. Now, I didn't years ago, I didn't know that how can I put it? I didn't know that most men outside of what we would consider African centered or whatever you want to say found that to be an issue. What I found is that it's actually more generational. The millennials and up, as far as the men, generally want natural beauty. Millennials and down, it's not as big of a thing because they've grown up in an era where they don't really see natural women that much. Shame to say. So it's like, I take what I can get, right? That's what I've seen, right? But I will say, even amongst different generations, the women that the average to above average man you see walking with tend to be women who tend to look more natural in the black community. Now, if there's a black man dating outside his race, then that's different because those other women they don't walk outside without makeup. If they going somewhere, that ain't gonna happen. So that's a whole different ball game. I was on the last one. Social media algorithms tend to spread whatever is trendy, which is usually whatever is the most degenerate or the most negative. Before the straight black pride of Sister Vanessa. So the later the show is, the later she shows up. I understand. That speaks for itself. I'm gonna get to that question and hold that thought. Social media, we see it like in the society in general. Social media, the music, everything accentuates the negative and it kind of folds the positive away. But let me get to this question. The question is, and I believe that's if it's Noski, says, brother, when you speak about marriage, are you talking about legal marriage, i.e. a marriage license from the state? Do black men have legal marriages in America? That's an excellent question, first of all. I tend to vacillate, meaning go back and forth with this. I understand why brothers don't want to get married because of, first of all, you're talking about 50% divorces. That's just a statistical reality. There's no way to go around that. Some brothers have achieved a modicum of financial stability and have put forth some wealth. The reason that I do advocate marriage, even state-sanctioned marriage, is because when it comes to things like inheritance laws and things like that, things get real murky if you have children outside of wedlock and all that stuff. Like, those things can get tied up in court for years, and you're not here, right? Like, you have no control over that, right? So I do understand people's reticence. So to me, I say, depending on where you are in life, what you have achieved, I'm definitely for, and then this depends on where you live too, because different states have different laws. If you have spent, like, let's say you're in your 40s, you haven't gotten married, but you have achieved, I'm not gonna say vast wealth, but a good amount of wealth, right? You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is you are, and you put away money, right? and then you meet a woman. That person, I'm going to tell them, hey, put the prenup on the table. Say, this is what we had. This is what I'm willing to part with should the marriage not go forward. Here are the conditions and the parameters of that based upon length of time and however you and your lawyer set that up. Because that's going to tell you everything you need to know, being completely honest. If you reach that level and you put that prenup on the table and she comes free, then you already know that's not your wife. You move forward, right? So I'll say that's what I'll say with that. It's you have to go into it and with eyes wide open, and it depends on the individual. But I will say this, from a law perspective, from what I've seen, the legal marriage tends to give you more rights even to your children than having the children outside of wedlock. Also, I'm completely honest, this may break up people's marriages, but I am 100% in belief in DNA testing for children. But test all your children. Because the reality of the situation is, if the woman knows they're yours, she might be mad at you a little bit, but she ain't gonna mind doing it. If she mind doing it, as far as I'm concerned, you might want to take a look at it. So I know that's a long, elaborate answer. Generally speaking, I am for legal marriage because of the legal protections that it provides. But I'm also for legally protecting yourself before you get into the legal marriage. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've seen people get into these we have these ceremonies, what they call them? Like commitment ceremonies, right? But they're not legally recognized. And then when it comes, if something happens and it doesn't work, you're like the man's rights is totally out the window. Like he ain't got nothing, no hope, right? So because you got to think about it. In some states, if you cohabit long enough, you consider married anyway, right? Like people don't think about that. Just like in some states, if you take care of a child long enough, it's considered your child, right? So again, marriage is in this society, is as much of a, to be honest, it's as much of a business as it is anything else. But for us, marriage is spiritual, it's cultural, and it's a union of two families, like I said before. But you're gonna have to deal with these people the rest of your life, regardless of how you do it. The object is for me, from how I'm looking at it, is to take the legal framework and make it work for you as best as you can, right? Now, some brothers, let's say you Muslim and you want to be polygamous, then that's something that you would have to take to your imam or whatever and have him lay out the framework of how that works in that sense. Because in this society, look, I'm not saying be a polygamist or not, but I'm just saying, if two men can get married, why in the world can a man marry two women? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying from a legal point of view. I'm not advocating or taking away from the polygamy aspect, but I'm saying if two dudes can get married who are never going to reproduce, or two women can get married, they're never going to reproduce. The fact that people can, thus, since we're allowing everything and everything is everybody can do whatever they want almost. Why is polygamy legal? But that's a whole nother discussion. So that brother's question to me, I think that was a brother, took me way off of topic. Right, let me get to the next slide because I wasn't supposed. All right, so our case study, Mr. Samuels. Y'all got jokes in the comments. All right, we remember Kevin Samuels, right? We all know him. Hugely popular during the pandemic. Like, I don't even know how many views and likes and stuff I used to see him get. Large super chats and everything like that. Hugely popular. Considered to be highly divisive when he was alive. Like, even amongst women, right? There were women that, because of the whole high value man thing and the whole aesthetic that he put together, there were women that liked him. There were women that listened to his message. There were women that tried to follow his advice and accepted his worldview, right? And I don't know what the percentage would be. And there were women that absolutely hated him, right? What I found interesting is that the women that tended to dislike him the most actually tend to be women that didn't actually watch him. Here's the danger of people like Kevin Samuels. And fortunately, he kind of caught lightning in the bottle. There's been many imitators, but no duplicators. There's a passage in the Quran that says, do not mix up truth with falsehood while you know. That was, in essence, his entire stick of mixing up truth with falsehood. Right? So you could point to something that is correct, that is factual, and then build a fallacious argument around the core fact and get people caught up because the initial fact that was stated is true and correct, but the argument built around it is false. You see what I'm saying? And that was something that he did because his entire framework was coming from a European mindset. So whenever we're coming from a European mindset, we're not going to be a psychologically healthy African perspective, right? It is what it is. So that's what causes divisiveness. So, he popularized a high value man. Like, there was no, like, far as I know, he put that into the lexicon in the black community. Now, if he got it from somewhere else, because I know a lot of his ideology he got from Europeans, but if he got that wording from somewhere else, I do not know. Doesn't matter. It's here now. He put it in the lexicon. He was the one talking about dating. What do they call it? I think actually they call it like sexual marketplace value. So this concept then opens up the realm for transactional relationships, like everything being transactional. Now, we're in America. There's a certain percentage of people who have been doing their relationships been transactional. Like half the NBA, their relationships are transactional. You know what I'm saying? A lot of high level financiers and high level doctors and lawyers and politicians, their stuff is transactional, right? So that's not nothing new. But what has happened is that mentality had just seeped down into everyday people on the internet, right? At least espousing that transactional aspect of relationships as opposed to a complementarity aspect of relationship. You see what I'm saying? So to me, a transactional aspect of relationships between men and women is a very Roman, well, no, a very Greek centered thought, right? Because the Greeks didn't look at their women as complements; they looked at their women as, in essence, unwanted necessities. Like, we got to reproduce, so we have to deal with women. In essence, Sappho said, "Oh, Tony, you said he got. You said you think he got the high value man from the Black Authority. I don't know. I've seen those people who used to be pro-black imitate his talking points. So I don't know. Like, I've seen people that supposed to be pro-black, they just started whole shows just imitating Kevin Samuels to the best of their ability. And Asafo said, dude brought Wall Street skills to dating and had people believe he was the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah. Well, I always tell people, because I actually had saw some of his old stuff when he looked like he didn't have that much money. Maybe he wasn't established in his career or whatever was going on. Maybe he moved to a new place. I don't know. But I'd always tell people Kevin Samuels looked, because he said he's an image consultant. I think he looks like an image consultant that went to an image consultant. You see what I'm saying? Like, there was a time where he wasn't wearing the expensive suit, the tailored suits. Didn't have, like, there's different skill levels of barbers. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to the same skill level barber. Didn't have the watches. Didn't have the, you know what I'm saying? That whole, in fact, didn't have the apartment in wherever he at, Miami or wherever he was at. He didn't have that. He didn't have that laid out. He didn't have that aesthetic, right? So there was a whole image that went with his message that women were attracted to, right? And men were attracted to it. It became the old, what they used to say, men want to be him and women want to be with him. So he did that very well. The problem is what was coming with those ideas. Since he was Eurocentric. Yeah, he was completely, his ideology was completely Eurocentric. The latent materialism underneath everything was Eurocentric. Like, all of it was Eurocentric. One positive thing, it's positive in everything. He did emphasize the importance of marriage. And of all the things he said, I think that's the one thing that got totally thrown out the window. Like, he always, every time I saw him, he emphasized the marriage. In fact, he used it really to beat black women over the head, because he would interview women and they would talk about they were engaged to this guy and that guy, and they almost got married and all this stuff. And he would just be like, well, that don't count. in essence, so what? Which I never knew that so many black women was getting proposed to 2 or 3 times and turning them down. Because I'm just like, I mean, that part was interesting. Hearing the best part of his show to me was hearing the women talk. Not nothing he said, just listening to the women talk, because some of the stuff was very eye-opening. I was like, oh, okay. And I used to work somewhere where I worked around predominantly women, so I would already talk to women and pick their brains and stuff. So, but hearing some of the things that some of these sisters said was like, oh, really? You know what I'm saying? You just like, oh, so that's y'all really think that? Oh, okay, well, that explains it. You say homophile males also listen to him. Oh, I'm sure, because his, being completely honest, if you observe him, he had a not a feminine aesthetic, but there was an underlying feminine. He had a feminine mannerisms, right? It was almost like he wanted to show off all the time. Now, I have some suspicions, but I'll never know, so I don't address them. I don't think he was like an open homophile, because that would have came out. But I do think that there is something traumatic in his past that put out something in his past that is a reason why you see some things you see. All right, we hit the 1 hour mark. So real quick, welcome to SBL Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You follow me on my other social media platforms on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_ONE, on Threads at dc.radical1, and OTW2 at dcradical1. If you find value in the discussion, you can donate via Cashapp at $dcradical1. You can email me at dc.radical_1@protonmail.com. Now, this, I'm not gonna lie, this discussion is taking longer than I thought. You got ripped off. You're supposed to be reminding me to invite people. You say that again? He said producer called you 2 days after he died and said she got info that it was a female impersonator that he was with. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? That person has never come forward. So either they got paid well, or because there was a lot of rumors around his death, but most of it was coming from women that hated him. So I take everything with a grain of salt, because the people that know was the people like TMZ. You know who they get information from? The cops in the hospitals. Those are the people that know, right? I know people in law enforcement, and I worked at a hospital. You'd be amazed the information that comes just by being in that place. Like, you be like, hey, ain't that, or is that? you know, you're like, yeah. You rushing them to the ER. You're like, oh, the hell. So, anyway. You say thank you for the required discussion. Hey, thank you for your support. Lastly, well, no, not lastly, my bad. Not racially loyal. Right? One thing we do know, the person he's with wasn't a black woman. That part we know. Regardless of whatever else we talking about, that has been an established fact. And since this is SBL Talk, Street Black Love Talk, that is detrimental in itself, because you influence a lot of people, and they see your choices in me, and they emulate, right? So to me, and I think I'm gonna talk about it later. I think it's in the next slide, actually. Open up the door for more cooning, in essence, right? And lastly, disregarded the realities of colorism and sexual abuse in the Black community. Man, listen. I'm going to do a colorism show if I can actually get some sisters to come on. Because sisters like to say, oh, Black men don't really care about this or this or that. But when you open up the door for people to speak on something, they don't nobody show up. Part of that is some sisters' identity is tied into Black men not loving Black women. So when someone shows the opposite, they can't deal with the reality that they're wrong and have been wrong and have been spreading misinformation and vitriol and hatred for no reason. Because here's something that's taking place, and this is tangentially related to the discussion, but the reality of one thing, actually, it is related. It is related. Kevin Samuels actually showed that the thoughts and ideas of the perceived top whatever percentage you want to use of men basically color how women how women perceive what men desire. And I don't know if I said that clearly enough. So let me try to expound on it. Women look at the men that they desire, right? The top, or the men who are most desired in the society. So in the Black community, oftentimes it's entertainers and athletes. The entertainers and athletes, what they're doing as far as the women they select, the women that they're dating, because all this stuff is very public, the women that they marry, the women that they reproduce with, because there's more reproduction than marriage that takes place. The average woman looks at the women that they select, and then they take and put that blanket on the vast majority of men, right? So what happens is when the men say, a large percentage of men say, we like XYZ. So let's say 50% of the men say, Black men say, no, actually we like natural beauty. We like women who are identifiably Black, XYZ. Whether people are sincere or not, let's just say 50% of the men say it. The women don't hear it because they see what they perceive as the top 10% of men, let's say, or 5, or whatever, right? Kevin Samuels placed himself there, whether he was there or not, he placed himself there, right? I remember he did a video where people were talking about, I think like he made a response video to somebody talking about, in essence, the 666 man. Y'all remember that thing? 6 feet, 6 figures, you get it. And he was like, well, I'm one of those men. I'm in that pack of men. Nobody asked me what I think. This before he blew up. I remember the video. This before he blew up. But it came on automatically after somebody else I was watching, a brother I was watching that talks about relationships. And so that perspective of those men, they hold higher weight in the mind of most women. Which is why when the men say what they like, the women don't hear it because they're looking at the actions of the men that they find most desirable. Have I made that clear? Like, y'all put a 1 if I made that clear. If I'm just causing confusion, y'all let me know before I move forward, right? So, and yeah, we almost knew the effects of the Kevin Samuels era. Kevin Samuels spawned a multitude of male imitators who espouse an even more toxic ideology. Like I said, man, often imitated, never duplicated, and many times, including, like I said, people who were formerly pro-Black, changing their format and changing their discussion points to emulate his show and to spew a bunch of vitriol and disrespect on Black women, right? Like their whole show and what they used to be focused on and what they used to talk about changed to that format. I've watched it, you know what I'm saying? Watched it with my, now it's people that I already didn't rock with and didn't agree with anyway, so I wasn't surprised. But I did notice, right? The high value man discussion has unwittingly reduced many online relationship discussions to discussions of, in essence, acculturated prostitution. See, somebody like these people, hold up. What's acculturated prostitution? Acculturated prostitution, it just means transactional relationship. The entire relationship is built around what material objects the woman can get and what material objects the man is willing to give. Like that wasn't as openly stated before the whole high value man discussion. Now, outside of social media, it's been aided by For example, the WAP song, which is literally about, actually not even acculturated prostitution. It's a song about prostitution, right? Now y'all correct me because I might got the wrong song, but is that not the song where Cardi B says, "I F them and then I get some money"? Like, help me out. Maybe I got the song mixed up, but I know Cardi B got a song talking about she F them, then she gets some money. I know that. You know what I'm saying? I put that in a lecture, so I know that happened. I'm not sure if it's the WAP song or something else. So y'all help me out. Kevin Samuels unleashed a hit for unspoken. Shouldn't have said unseen. Should have said unspoken, seething hatred against single mothers. Before him, if people had that issue, they weren't on the internet ranting about it every day. Now, again, I'm for marriage. I think children outside of wedlock is detrimental to everyone involved. But the seething and rage, this maddening hatred and spewing vitriol and talking about the women all day, every day, that didn't exist before Kevin Samuels. And if so, it wasn't getting the attention that it is now. Again, anybody wants to correct me on any of this stuff or debate it, I will put it in the chat. Right? So, in fact, speaking of putting it in the chat, that's the link. So if anybody wants to discuss any of these points or debate any of these points, link is in the chat. And you let me know as I'm coming close to the end. Let's see. By choosing to date outside of his race, once he achieved popularity, Samuels paved the way for the Passport Bros and other groups who would previously be considered coons. We've reached a point now where literally dudes will invite Dr. Umar on, agree with 75% of what he says, and then argue with him to the death about dating outside their race. Why they can't have a white woman. But they agree with him. Right? They agree with everything he says. But why can't they be pro-black and have a white woman? Like, I've seen people they was going to die on that hill. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Samuels opened up the doorway for that, in my humble opinion. Right? And Samuels did spawn a small group of female influencers who espoused the belief in marriage and tradition. So I have seen that as well, and some of them acknowledge his influence on that. So I give him that. We're here to teach truth regardless of whom or what. Now, y'all give me a moment. I need a drink before, not a drink of alcohol, but drink of water before I get into this. For this discussion, I'm calling it yeah, and then they want to bring their beast too. Yeah, indeed. Before they straight black pride. Brother Kevin. We're calling this black cyber feminism. Right? I'm talking about what you see online and what you, as opposed to what you deal with day to day. It's two different things, but interrelated. I first encountered it on Twitter amongst black women who looked like quote unquote conscious women. Right? So I'm talking about onks and locks and incense burning and talking pro-black stuff and complete feminists. And what opened it up, I never forget. Because I was like, some of the things to some of the talking points they were saying was throwing me off. Because one minute they be saying something pro-black, and then the next minute they be saying something that's kind of anti-black men, but not openly. And I'm like, hold up. I know she ain't saying that. What's going on? This is back in like 2011, 2010, 2011. And but I never forget the Trayvon Martin thing. off, right? And I'm on Twitter, and so the Trayvon Martin thing happened. What was that? 2012. I'm on Twitter. Yeah, because I had Twitter over maybe 2 years. And the sister comes on and she's like, "Oh my God, they got a young boy down at the morgue in Florida, and I think she was saying she think the police killed him or something. I can't remember, but she was the one that told, but no one knew his name because she was in Florida, right? So I guess they said on the news or however she found out about it, and she was like, "Call up, y'all need to call up there and have them do XYZ and so forth, so forth." So she put the call out on Twitter to the point that I called, right? And couldn't get through because apparently that's how many people were called. Either people could either overwhelm their phones or they just said the hell with it, don't answer the phone, whatever, right? So I never forget Cola Booth. Y'all know who she is. I don't know what she is. I don't know if she's supposed to be a model. I don't know, whatever. But she's I think she's supposed to be Sudanese or something. Rabid feminist who ended up a few years later married to a small hat. So I didn't know she was basically a hat agent. I didn't know that at the time. I had heard of her, but I didn't know who she was. And she had claimed that she had been with Bin Laden or whatever. All this old, this is wild stuff. But she hated black men. But I'm just like, if you was with Bin Laden and he did stuff to you, why you hate me? Why you hate me? What I got? You know what I'm saying? I ain't no supporter of Bin Laden. Like, what are we talking about here? So that whole thing was crazy. But I never forget the sister that was talking, and you could feel her. It's weird. You could feel her pain through the text, like through her typing. And Cola Booth said, "Why are you worried about that boy? Because if he had grown up, he would have grown up to oppress you." And I almost dropped my laptop on the floor because I was like, "Yo, what is that? Like, what are we talking about here?" So that was the first time I saw it, right? The vitriol and the hatred of black men that I would see later. That was the first time I saw it. And it was right after Trayvon. Like, we didn't even know Trayvon's name yet. He was just this boy who had been killed in Florida, and Cola Booth told that sister that. And I was just like, I don't even remember what I did. I might have just turned, sometimes you see something and you just log off and you just, I was dumbfounded. I'm low key still like dumbfounded, but I didn't know. I knew about feminism, and yeah, I knew about black feminism, but I didn't know. Like I didn't know like that's what they was teaching in school. I didn't know that they had these people out here pushing this ideology before they straight black pride. I didn't know. So when she said that, that was like my cold water slap in the face introduction to black cyber feminism. And it was like, oh, these people hate us. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's so I've never forgotten that. Ever forgotten. Right. Now, black cyber feminism spreads a vitriolic hatred for black men, encourages such things as abort black male babies. It celebrates police terrorism against black men. Again, most of this I seen on Twitter, but there was I cannot think of that chick. It was a chick that she was real popular, and people tell me she used to talk pro-black stuff at first. She was on YouTube. I cannot think of her name. Wore a wig all the time or whatever, wore a lot of makeup. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all let me know. But yeah, apparently she was talking about aborting black male babies and stuff. And like this type of hatred against black men. Cynthia G, yeah, brother Kevin. Brother Kevin, am I Y'all tell me, am I exaggerating her the vileness of her message? Y'all tell me if I'm exaggerating, because I didn't follow her like that. Because I remember a long time ago, you know how the algorithm's like, oh, okay, you like this, then you take this, and she popped up one time, and this is when she was talking black stuff, and I never felt comfortable with her. I was like, I know sister that's about it's gonna be, it's not the aesthetic that they're gonna go for. They're eventually gonna grow out of it, and she hasn't, and I was done with it, right? So that's before she was talking all this wild stuff. Black cyber feminism encourages incarcerated prostitution in the name of getting the bag. I don't even have nothing to add to that. Like, I mean, we've all seen it. I don't even know what else to say, right? Celebrate single motherhood over marriage and the intact family structure. I've heard a bunch of women, I don't even know if women's the word I want to use, basically just the I can do bad all by myself thing that started actually decades ago has become like a lot of women's living mantra that they act up, they go up and do bad by themselves, instead of trying to do better with someone in a complementary relationship. But the cyber feminism, they celebrate that, right? And I mean, it's obvious that it's perpetuated and encouraged by our enemies because it's destroying our community. Like, it's just plain and simple. Oh, bruh. Hot girl summer. I don't know what this white toe summer thing is. I seen that. I don't know what that is. All of it just seems to be and girls trips, which is a lot of times is undercover lesbianism. So these girl trip things, a lot of time, the reason you see these violent acts and these women getting beat up in these fights and people leaving early and stuff like that is because some undercover lesbianism was going on, and a woman that's straight didn't know, and then now she up there fighting for her life. Like, a lot of times they be like, oh, it's over money, or it's over. Nah, it's over. She don't want to be turned out by some undercover lesbo. You say she's a product of Boyce Watkins. You say about 5 years ago she began talking to feminists, divest the rhetoric. Oh, okay. Now, I didn't know how she came on. I didn't know how she came on the scene. Like, when I saw her, she was talking about some, and this was more than 5 years ago. This actually probably was like 2018. But like I said, I didn't pay her no attention because, like I said, it was obvious that what she was talking about wasn't what she believed in. So it's whatever. And last, cyber feminism is fueled by toxic mix of academic feminism, female hip hop, 304 culture, and integrationist fantasies. So that is how I see that. I think we're almost. I guess we're not almost. We should be almost. All right. Yeah, we're almost. So, social media effects on relationships, and I had some articles I was going to read, but I'm not because this has already lasted long enough. People, I'm gonna say mostly women, y'all can disagree if you like, are running to social media with their relationship problems that should be handled in-house. I saw a clip of some divester, integrationist negress who had children by a black man and two by black men. I don't know if she was ever married. 2 by a European male. And she's on there, and their whole relationship is put on the internet for everybody to see, blah, blah, blah. In essence, in a way, trying to disprove the Kevin Samuels mantra about single mothers, because, she claims she got a better man. She got Brad, and they moved to Hawaii and all this stuff. And then, just recently, she's on the internet ranting and raving and claiming that he don't have no money, and she paid for everything, and she bought the house, and she bought the car, and this and that, and he broke it, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Now, is any of that stuff true? Or was she running social media to get likes and views? Or was she running social media to get likes and views? Did she pay for the dude so she could run the social media and get likes and views? Because a lot of our women nowadays, especially darker sisters, I'm just being completely honest, are invested in the fantasy of laying up with your root in a way that I've never seen before. And I don't know if that's part of this new, I guess if you're a millennial, and it's regional too, but if you're a millennial, like, the world's always been integrated. And so that just, whatever latent self-hatred people have, that just allows them to try to leave the race through reproducing with non-black people, right? So you see a lot of that. You see women just coming on and talking about their relationships and this and that, and I don't see a lot of it, but I do see some men like that, I do see some. And people are comparing their relationships to people online that they don't know. Let me tell you something. You can know people personally. And I put the invite back into the chat. I'm almost finished. You can know people personally and not know the ins and outs of their relationship. Like, you know people for years. Things can seem good on the surface, and they just cannot be getting along to the point where it's toxic, and you'll be shocked. You know what I'm saying? So envying other people's relationships based on what they put on social media is just goofy, being completely honest. Relationship advice and unrealistic expectations cause dissatisfaction in relationships. Actually, the articles that I had actually talked about this, but I wrote this before I actually read the articles. You know what I'm saying? So even though this was observation and my analysis, it was backed up by some therapists, some psychologists, some psychological websites. I was on point, even when I didn't even go to the expertise of others. And we see this all the time. People, unrealistic expectations. When y'all start making jokes in here, unrealistic expectations, man, in dating and relationships all the way around, it's just, social media just feeds that thing. Like, it's insane. What I realize is so many people see healthy relationships. So many people know people who even in mid-level relationships that, they run the social media to see what they think they want, but the intricacies of it you don't see. Makes it easier for people to get attention from the social media. Makes it easier to get attention from the other gender. So, say a sister feel like she's not getting enough attention for it. All she gotta do is put one picture on Instagram. somebody's gonna like it, and then sometimes that's enough. In addition, somebody's gonna say something. Some dude is gonna say how beautiful that woman is. It don't even matter what she looks like. And maybe he's sincere, but maybe he's not. So that's the danger of it. And to be honest, the weird phenomenon where women are attracted to men who are in relationships. If women know you're in a relationship, post a picture, you get some attention as a man. Not as much as a woman, obviously, unless you are in excellent shape or whatever, or you taking pictures next to a very expensive car, wearing some expensive clothes, but yeah, still. I do not remember that episode, brother. Let's see. Oh yeah, social media creates unnecessary tension and suspicion in relationships. Right? The woman checking who you like and whose picture you like on Instagram. It can. I've seen it. I just thought about it. Yeah, I've seen this before. But yeah, man, just liking pictures just cause a whole blow up. Whatever. Here's a secret for brothers. If you gotta like pictures of women that look like your woman. Gives you plausible deniability. Yeah, I like her because she look like you. Right. Now, if you didn't marry your type, be liking them pictures, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you get married or you're in a relationship and you thinking about getting married, if you step outside of your type, don't be liking your type. All right? Look, listen. Let me tell you something. Because we talking real talk here. If you like, as an example, let's say you married a sister that's darker than the paperback, and you like her, you're attracted to her, and you love her and everything. Man, do not go on Instagram liking a bunch of pictures from racially ambiguous women. Please don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not hit the heart button. Don't make no comments. Don't go to that's just a YouTube page. Don't even go to her YouTube. In fact, don't even go to her Instagram. Block her. You know what I'm saying? You say I'm teaching them how to be. No, I'm teaching them to. Hey, I'm just keeping it real. Don't do it. And to be honest, if that's what you like, go find what you really like. You said, wait, hold on, what? You said you had a brother say wives and girlfriends are okay with cheating if the sneaky link is prettier than the wife. I don't know about that part. I ain't co-signing that. I'm just gonna say that women are they're angrier because it's disrespectful in their mind if the woman does not look at least as good as them. Now understand, that's a subjective thing, right? So that's why you don't even get into, why make your life harder? Let me deal with the cheating thing real quick. Sidebar. Listen, if you know, I had an older brother say this one time. He wasn't even talking to me, but I was listening. He said, listen, man, if that woman don't make you want to come home at night and he was talking about because her physical appeal isn't what you like, even if you like her personality and all that stuff, leave that woman alone, because you are inviting doing something disrespectful, i.e. cheating. Because why? Because invariably, once you get in a relationship, what you do like, what is your type, is going to find you at your weak point when you and that woman ain't getting along. It's just some type of, I don't know what it is. Like some weird natural law or whatever. Some type of energy you're sending out that automatically makes those women gravitate to you. So I took the brother's word on it. Right? Like it's, and I have seen it. I have seen it where a brother get with a sister he like, but it's not his type, and then all of a sudden his type seemingly shows up every time he walks out the door, and I'm just like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, right? Now y'all got me totally on a tangent, making the show last longer than it has to be. And lastly, and most important, takes away time and attention from your partner, creating unnecessary division in the relationship. I'm gonna say this to brothers because, at least in my experience, though not always true, certainly not always true. If your woman says you're not giving her enough attention, remember this simple fact. Unless your woman is deformed, dudes try to holler at your woman every day if she walks out of the house. If your woman who works at home or she just takes care of the house, she's a housewife. If the mailman sees her, he might give her a compliment. Or if she turn on that internet, somebody's gonna like that picture. You know what I'm saying? So understand, weird as it is, you're in competition for your woman with, in the internet age, with every man they can see her. So if she start sending you hints that you're not giving her enough attention, understand, dudes are waiting to holler at her, and they're already trying to holler at her at the gas station, at the grocery store, etc. ad nauseum. And worse come to worse, sometimes you got to be careful because it might be your homeboy that she go confide in it. I'm just saying, understand the fact. Dudes are macking your woman daily, which means you have to mac your woman daily. As they used to say in the nation, you can take it or you can let it alone. Right? I think we at the end. We got questions. Has social media been more beneficial or detrimental to the state of the relationship between black men and black women? Let me know. Y'all put it in the chat if you want to. Nobody wants to come on. Well, sister, they can't tell you cheating if you ain't cheating. That's the way to avoid that. It's by not cheating. I'll just be honest, the whole cheating thing, if your woman don't entice you like that, it's time to end a relationship. As a man, I don't understand the cheating thing. Or if you want another woman, just tell your woman you want another woman. She either going to accept it or reject it. You're not satisfied anyway. And y'all gonna say, well, DC, have you done that? Well, that's a story for another day. You know, the arrogance of youth, shall we say. Has social media been used by our enemies to exacerbate the quote-unquote gender. Y'all let me know about that. And lastly, has social media altered the perception of the younger generation as to what a healthy relationship looks like? Right? So those are the questions. I think that is the last slide. Here we go. And here are the rules of the show. As I send out the invite one more again, as the Southern folks say, even though we don't have a large audience, we never have a large audience for the show. Maybe it's the time. All right, there we go. So somebody you want a question or comment, you want to come in, now's the time. Here are the rules of the show. Always be respectful to each other. Never use derogatory language towards Black people, right? Our women are not B's and H's, nor 304s. Such language is prohibited. Once it's a mistake, twice is banishment. Black people are not N-words, period, in the discussion. Marcus Garvey said we deprecate the use of the word. So we're not in. And lastly, speak with passion but be respectful. Seek truth and understanding. Speak truth and avoid Zionist stereotypes about the complementary gender. Follow those rules, you can speak. Can't follow those rules, you shall be banished. It's really kind of that simple. All right. So I'll leave those up. If anybody has anything that they would like to contribute to the discourse, now is your time. I will give people about 5 more minutes. And then if not, then we'll close out. So while I'm waiting for someone to take the offer or not. Again, this is SBL Talk, Straight Black Love Talk. I am your host, DC Radical One. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on my other social media, via Instagram and Threads at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_ONE, on OTW2 at DC Radical One, and you can donate via Cashapp at $ DC Radical One, and the email is dc.radical1, actually _1. That's wrong. Remind me to correct that at protonmail.com. Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I messed that up. So my humble apologies with that. Also, since I didn't mention it, Brother Genie will be in Baltimore at Terra Cafe, which is 101 East 25th Street, Baltimore, Maryland, at 3 p.m. for his book signing and book release event for the second part in the series. So y'all know what it is. Y'all know who the problem is if you've been following Brother Genie. So that is this Saturday. No, brother, I never got those. So I don't have that. You talking about the one I did, or you talking about the ones with Janie and Black Snow? And if you talking about the one from the event, I never got those. If you want that, talking about the one with Janie and Black Snow, no, he has those, but asking him where he has stuff nowadays is good luck. You have to go to the archives. No, I never received that. I think, I don't know if the video was bad, the audio was something. I never got it. It was never sent to me. So yeah. It's funny too, because I only wrote part of that and the rest was off the cuff or from the heart, if you will. So yeah, that's just a moment in time that I guess it's mostly lost. I guess I should have had it set up to be filmed. You know, y'all know me, not a big camera person. I don't have the ego I had in my youth. Let's put it that way. So yeah, and also August 17th, 2 weeks and 2 days from now, the 10th anniversary Straight Black Pride convention is taking place at the same place in Baltimore at Terra Cafe, East 25th Street, 101 East 25th Street. And that will be at 2 p.m. to about 6 or 7 or so. We'll be doing that. And it's possible, I don't know if it's been verified yet, but Brother Genie may be doing an event that Friday, the day before. So I will check on that and I will let you all know about that. I should have, but I wasn't thinking about it, obviously. I should have put the flyers in this presentation, but that I did not do that. So, I guess no one has anything to contribute. Well, y'all tell me in the chat, was this discussion worthwhile? Y'all let me know that, and then we'll get ready to close out, because I know it's almost 11, and people do have to be, well, it's almost 11 here. People do have to go to work. It's not, why don't we have more federal holidays on Friday? You know. But yeah, y'all let me know. Was this worthwhile discourse? And do y'all want me to continue this show? But I'm gonna let y'all know right now. The way it's going, as far as the views and the likes and the participation, this show is experimental at this time. And I will judge how long it goes based upon participation. So this is Black August. It's the first day of Black August. I think that's appropriate. If we don't get a certain amount of support for this particular show, it may go from being a weekly thing to a once a month thing. So, like, Black August will, the plan is to do this through Black August and then see how it goes from there. So it is up to you all to spread the word and get people to show up and to be a part of the discourse. And if people choose not to do that, then I will curtail my content and to just do what people are supporting. So, that's where we are. I'm not gonna lie, the putting up the consistent amount of content I'm putting up, I don't see the benefits of it, but I feel like the people value it, then I will dial it back some. That's just how it is. Time is valuable. So I did this because I thought it was needed and I do enjoy it. But if it doesn't come to fruition like I like, it is what it is. So yeah, I don't see anybody. So no one chose to hit the link today. But so with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for putting your thoughts in the chat. Thank everybody that managed to stay awake. And for those that didn't, hey, thank you all for at least coming in and making yourself heard. And we will be back with another episode of The Center this Sunday. We're going to deal with geopolitics again because there's a lot of stuff going on with Israel. And yes, I know I've said it a lot, but we are ever closer to World War III, and we're even closer now than we were. So before I close out, I'll say again, you can follow me on Instagram at, hold up, I got one person that, but Dessalene, you got, hold on real quick. Let's see if the brother got something to say real quick. And if they do have something, the brother got something to say, we'll let him speak his piece and then we'll close out. As I wait for a response. All right, brother. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to respond to the inquiry in the chat. Let me know before I close out. I don't want to close out and you had something to say. So, 10-second countdown has begun. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Brother, you there or no? Give me an indication of it. Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right, we're gonna bring on Brother Dessalene real quick. So I didn't know if he wanted to be on. But he said, oops, I just messed up. He said he does. All right. So we're gonna bring the brother to the stage real quick. Give me a second, brother. All right, Brother Dessalene, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Habibi Shahodi and Straight Black Pride, Brother Conrad. How are you?
Be Fodian, brother. How are you?
I'm well. So I got a question for you, which is we didn't really like the way Kevin Samuels addressed the women. We do have an issue in our community with the women and with men. How do you propose that we address the situations that we have within our community directly?
Okay. That is an excellent question. As you know, I know you know, and I'm gonna turn the music down for this one. I've done forums addressing relationship issues. And I think that these things are, while I set this up for stuff like that, it is also imperative to do things in the community and to invite people out for discussions in person, behind closed doors, where it's just our people. Like for example, you have a facility where you are, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that, or a place like that, to create a space like that just for us, and to have these discussions. I don't know if you're using headphones or whatever, brother. I'm getting some feedback some type of way.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't know why.
Well,
can you hear me better now?
Yeah. So those type of forums, I think, are the best way to handle that situation.
Are those type of forums as far-reaching? Does it reach as many people to maybe shift what they call the Overton window as quick and as far? Because one thing I can say about, Kevin Samuels, even though we disliked the way that he went around about doing it, and he may have mixed truths with untruths. He stood for the bourgeoisie. The what's that guy's name? Uh, what's that guy's name? I forget the guy's name. That bourgeoisie type black folk that don't really, that don't really the Martin Luther Kings instead of the Malcolm X's is what I'm trying to say.
Right, like the W.E.B. Du Bois, the Town the 10th, that type thing.
Right, but there's this one guy that's still alive that people talk about. What's his name? I forget his name. Anyway, although we didn't like the way he did it, the way he went around doing it, he did open the eye on certain issues of many people. For instance, you spoke of how you weren't aware of how many times, and neither was I, of how many times women would turn down weddings or turn down being married after accepting or being with a fiance, accepting a hand in marriage and then turning it down. How prevalent it was. We weren't aware of that. We weren't aware of, these are things that open that we had our eyes open to, that we weren't aware of. And I'm not sure that we would see the truth of that in small forums that are personal or interpersonal amongst each other. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. I look at it like this. Good, right, wrong, or indifferent, good or bad. The space for the discussions were open by that. I'm saying the space, now that the space is open, the place to take it, and you can do a mix of things like we have done previously, but this for people who really want to actually change, because everybody doesn't want change. Everybody doesn't want to do anything positive. We know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. It's best then to have those forums in person, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. People tell a lot of lies on the internet and spew a lot of things on the internet that they're not willing to lie about and not willing to say to somebody's face. And the sincerity and the authenticity of an in-person forum is different than the internet, right? So okay. Will it be, hold on, let me finish real quick. Will it be as, can you reach as many people in as short a span of time? Absolutely not. Well, that goes without saying. But can you move people in a greater way to try to actually get some healing? Because like I say, most people speak from their trauma. I believe so. I don't believe that people turn on something on the internet and it changes them for the better. I don't believe that, because first of all, most people don't come on the internet for anything positive nowadays. So that's why I say, but at the same time, you still have to use the internet, or else this show wouldn't exist. You still have to use the internet in order to propagate your message, to even want to inspire people to then want to show up to a public forum. You see what I'm saying? So in the grand scheme of things, you have to use a mix of these two things.
Okay. Because what I'd say is there are a few things that I've personally seen with my own two eyes. I've seen women that I know that may have heard some of Kevin Samuel's things get a little more take a little more accountability and get a little more understanding of their role in relationships, and maybe why they're not in relationships right now. For instance, when he would say your husband is probably in your friend zone, in your friends list, on your friend zone. I personally know women that looked at that and was like, that's probably true. You know what I mean? And I personally know a bunch of women that I wouldn't have mind marrying, after dating, and they just put you in the friend zone because you put something up on the screen. You said the social media. I can't remember verbatim, but it says social media makes you feel like you have endless possibilities for dating.
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
And so this is a problem that we have in our community, and not even just only the Black community, but just the dating community, just the dating atmosphere is
yeah.
And so these are things that he was addressing, and I think those are things that can be addressed over, broadband. And I would say, for instance, we have an epidemic with both men and women with weight. We have a weight epidemic, overweight.
Right.
And so I can get 10 women and 10 men in my place, and we can talk about it. But if we make it known as that's an issue in our community and address it on a bigger basis, it might move the needle, in larger quantities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It was something you said that I wanted to address. So for example, right, a public forum, one thing, when you take it off to do it in-person forum, when you take it off the internet, one thing it does, when people show up, the people that they attract in person gives a reality check to how vast you think your options are. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, the internet will have people, especially women, let's just be honest, thinking there's an endless array of men that they can attract, but put them in a room with other women, and then the natural hierarchy of attractiveness is readily apparent, and that in itself will help break some delusion, right?
Nah, I don't know about that, brother. I'm gonna have to push back on that because I
know you want to push back, but I'm gonna tell you what I've seen because I've done these. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you that
I
had a conversation with a young lady the other day, and I tried to tell the young lady she was beautiful, and her response to me was, "Everybody's beautiful. All the women are beautiful." I said, "Well, there is a universal beauty as well. Yes, everybody's beautiful, but there's a universal beauty that is more attractive." You know what I'm getting at? And basically, we were going around in circles because she wouldn't admit that there's a hierarchy, that you're speaking of beauty.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Is she more on the attractive side or the less attractive side?
Right, she's on the attractive side.
Exactly. So to her, she can say that because she's on the attractive side, and she knows if she comes to a forum, she knows that she's going to pull the attract. I'm saying that the in-person thing pulls the delusion from the lesser attractive women who think they have the endless options. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, she's on the high end of the hierarchy. It doesn't matter to her where people fall behind her because they're behind her. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the high school thing. The most attractive girl doesn't care how attractive her friends are as long as they're not as attractive as she is. So that's really what she was expressing,
brother, because we got women like Lizzo and women I see them all the time. I own the space. I see them daily that I open. Heavy sized women acting like they're the best looking woman on the planet.
And you know what I'm saying? And you know why they do that?
I'm not saying they're not beautiful. So for
right. No, but I'm saying you know why they say that though, right?
Well,
they say that because your friend that you were talking about tell that woman that every day.
Right, but they tell them in person. And so you can say that person in person stuff all you want, but they're doing this in person. And so my point is that it brings back my point where
but this is my thing. When you have like a singles event, like I've had, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is when that event is over, that woman is going to see who's leaving with numbers and Instagram handles
but that's everyday living. That happens every day. They go through that in life. When they go out to a bar or a club or a party, they know they're not getting the results that they want. They're not going home or being or being asked for marriage by the people that they want. This is happening to them. But my point, coming back to the whole Kevin Samuels and the internet thing, is that, you know, you're talking about maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe, and we're talking about millions. You know what I'm saying? And it's a huge difference. Where all right, let me ask you this: do you think that? Wait, real quick. Do you think that Do you think that? I know this is speculation, but I just want to hear what your thoughts on it. Do you think that Kevin Samuels died naturally, or he was maybe killed?
No, I don't think he was killed. I think he took the jab. Just looking at the timing of it. I think he took the jab.
Okay.
So, yeah, him, DMX, there's a couple of people. Because remember, he was traveling and stuff like that.
Right.
And you look at the timing of what happened. There was alleged, as far as I know, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it was a heart situation, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
In the time and that was around the time when the jab was first released, right? And when people were trying to travel and the world was getting back to normal. Do I have that time frame right? I'm asking because I can't remember for sure.
I can't remember. To be honest with you, it's most likely you do. I'll give you that one.
So if that's the case, that's what I think happened with that. Just being completely honest, what the people that they were targeting weren't people that were talking about what he was talking about. Remember, that's the same time frame where a lot of holistic doctors and things like that were having mysterious accidents, disappearing, dying, and stuff like that. So there was a group of people they were targeting, and he didn't fall within the realm of that list.
I mean, they didn't have just one group. You know, there's a bunch of groups, but he was.
But I'm saying those people were at the top of the list.
He brought a lot of awareness to relationships in the Black community, as far as those things that we were talking about. You know, like what we didn't know. There's a lot of awareness that he did bring. I'm not saying he was right and everything, and he was Thomas. What's his name? Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell. That's the name I was trying to think of. Even though he's a Thomas Sowell type of guy, and we don't support that. There was he did talk about things like the color purple and of the Black community's relations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's Minister Farrakhan had talked about that years ago as well.
That's my point. Like so he did make that. He was making that. We talked about that, but not too many people are familiar with straight Black pride, unfortunately. And so he was making that a more of a mainstream kind of thought. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's coming from the wrong person's mouth, it is something an idea that should be spread within our community. That color purple stuff ain't true. That's right. As Jeannie said, that's ahistorical, and you basically putting a black face on a white character. You know what I'm saying? And so, those kind of concepts, I think is more effective and efficiently pushed through the internet.
Let me ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in a better place, relationship-wise, or a worse place than when he started, than when he got popular?
In my opinion, I think we're in a better place.
In my opinion, I think we're in a worse place.
I've seen women change their concepts. I've seen women start recognizing that maybe, I did turn down 3 engagements, maybe that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like these
Okay.
are concepts that
But
women are.
here's why I disagree. Here's why I disagree. Because I'm gonna use Kevin Samuel's measuring stick. What was his measuring stick?
I don't know. You tell me.
His measuring stick was marriage, right? He said that's the only thing that counted. Black divorce is at 50%, so that's like an unmarriage. So I say we're in a worse place based upon the measuring stick of marriage. I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not saying that there weren't important points that were put into the discourse by him. I'm not taking that credit away from him, but I'm saying overall, based upon his measuring stick, do we have more and better marriages in the Black community? And no, we do not.
I think we have more quality marriages. For instance, I can only speak for myself. I can't really speak. I've never taken a test to, stats on it. But I know for myself, there are things that I won't accept, and there are signals that I'm looking for before I would take marrying someone seriously that I didn't understand before. And that might just be me and my upbringing, because maybe I had a lack of fatherhood or a lack of uncles, that might have taught me these things. But there's a lot of brothers out there that don't have the fathers, don't have that might have learned a better way or reasons to eliminate or to accept a woman and to get engaged with a woman or propose to a woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are things that I'm divorced, and so right. I'd say that if I knew the things that I learned from Kevin Samuels before I even got married, I wouldn't even have married that person. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and again, what did I say at the beginning? The most dangerous part was. The most dangerous part.
It was mixing up the truth
with falsehood. Right.
Right.
So we'll take the truth, but you gotta be, what they say, take the meat. You gotta be careful to leave the bones.
No, I'm with you on that, and so
right.
I completely
and I know, and this is what I'm saying. I know you can do that because I know you. But
right.
Can the average brother do that? Based upon all Kevin Samuels imitators, I'll say no.
No, so this is why when I first started this conversation with you, the first thing I asked you was, how do you propose that we do it? Because I'm not saying we should resurrect Kevin Samuels. I'm saying, sometimes people want to remove something without replacing it with something that's better. So right. I'm thinking that my thing is, that's fine. We're not supporting the Kevin Samuels way of doing it, and we're not supporting trashing our sisters at all, right? And our queens at all. But what are we replacing it with? And are we not replacing it at all? Because there is a void of something to speak towards the relationships of the Black community in a direct and truthful way. Whereas we're not trying to coddle the Black community, because you can't train your body from fat into a war machine without hard work and direct and hard training. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so we can't be coddling. You can't coddle yourself into that type of transformation. There has to be some kind of, and I don't think it's only just 10 people, 20 people, 50 people at a time. I think that the internet serves a great purpose in actually addressing it with the people right now.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
Why are we here now having this discussion?
Well, that's for you to tell me, big brother. Because
I saw the need for the discussion to be had in a straight black pride way.
Okay.
And that's why I formulated this show in this manner, to open up the discourse for us to present information and dialogue and discussion
in our way. I'm here for it. I appreciate it. But what's
Again,
been straight black pride's biggest issue or biggest problem?
it's been a lot. Open
I mean,
attack. But I put it like this: not so open attack from our enemies has been one of them. But
that's well, right. I agree with that. But as far as us reaching the people, we don't have a huge platform to reach the people. And so, as I appreciate it, I'm gonna talk to you straight because you know you're my brother. And
right.
so, as I appreciate what we're doing, there is a formula that we have to take heed to, and maybe twerk it a bit so that it works in the black pride, straight black pride way. But to just throw the formula out, it doesn't make sense to me. So we do have to try to open up the gates to reach more brothers and sisters, is my point. And that's been an issue for the straight black pride community.
Well, it's an issue because, and I understand what you're saying. Being completely honest, the biggest issue is that people have been trained against being straight.
Agreed.
Like, how many times do you hear people even willing to say that they're straight at this point in time?
I've seen it more and more these past couple of weeks, though. But you're right. I'll completely agree with you, 100%.
So being completely honest, I'm gonna be completely honest. You heard the brother song before. Everybody's not going to make it.
That's the truth.
What we have that is branded as straight black pride is not going to, at this point in time. I told somebody this a while ago, before they put the pause on the world and everything. I started to see it. I said, we live in a counter-revolutionary time. And I see we got somebody else that wants to come in. So give me a second. Yeah, I'm not sure who this person is. But my bad. What was I saying?
I lost my train of thought. We're living in a counter-revolutionary time.
Yeah, we're living in a counter-revolutionary time. So when you're doing revolutionary things, and in this point in time, straight black love is as revolutionary as it gets, because everything is teaching you to not be straight, not to be love being black, and not to have any pride and self-respect. You have to do things and let the masses catch up sometimes. And that's where I'm at with it. Eventually, people will get tired of the negativity and look for something else. So I'm like, well, let me put something else on the table now. Let me refine it. Let me build it up. So then when the people are ready for it, it'll be here available, right? This is the second show with this format. It will evolve. You see what I'm saying? But I decided to put it on the table and to make something specifically for that, because we're going to have it where it's just open dialogue with a panel of people, and we can talk straight. But at the same time, I want that supplemented with real world face-to-face interaction with people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want it to just be a digital thing, because to me, the change really comes from amongst the people. And to be honest, the bigger the thing gets, the more people like, that's straight black pride. I seen them on the internet. But that's how people were with Janie when he started. In fact, when he started coming up there, he got more notoriety, right? He came up to New York or whatever, and that built it up. And then he was able to, when he launched Straight Black Pride, it attracted a certain amount of people, and then it filters out who's with it and who's not. So in a way, you can almost see this. In essence, I'm building this platform as we speak, because to your point, I saw the void, and the void was that everybody's talking about relationships, but their worldview is incorrect. Thus, their analysis is incorrect. And so from that, somebody had to put it out from the correct worldview and start from there. Because if your foundation is trash, you're going to eventually cause more destruction than benefit, even if your heart's in the right place, because the foundation of what you're building is malformed, if you will. You see what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I'm you know, I'm push back a little bit with you. You know, you're my brother.
Mm-hmm. That's why we having a dialogue.
That's right. And so my thing is, I'm proud straight black pride. Listen, I lead with my straight. You know that,
bro. Hey, you've been rocking with us. Look, I know you ain't got to prove it to me.
That's right. And so my thing is, what y'all always say, always say in straight black pride is, most people are straight black pride. Most people, without even knowing, they straight black pride, but they just don't want to raise the flag, and they don't want to be under the flag, right? We know this, right? Even though, whatever. But my point is, if you were to call, well, we're straight black pride, what was Kevin Samuels? What is Thomas Sowell? What would you call them?
I mean, as far as I know, Thomas Sowell refers to himself as a black conservative, unless I'm mistaken.
Okay, I would call him like bourgeoisie, right? But their channel wasn't called, or his channel, Thomas Sowell has a YouTube channel, and Kevin Samuels had his YouTube channel. Their channel isn't called bourgeoisie or black conservative, but we know that they're black conservative or bourgeoisie. I mean, I don't even like this black conservative thing, because in my opinion, Africans are the most conservative. So but they approach it from a European perspective. But yeah, right. I get what you're saying. But so my thing is, as I applaud the platform, and I'm loving that you're building it, and I'm here to build it with you. I ain't going nowhere, and I'm always supported. I think that maybe you might think about keeping the platform, but maybe doing another platform that we know you're straight black pride. You can even have the flag behind you, but it's not leading with it. It's just leading with there's a word you use, the tenements, or the leading with the relationship part of it, but under the banner of straight black pride, to open it, to get more people, so that we can lead them, like they call that the Overton window being shifted, to shift the paradigm a bit without even them understanding that we're shifting it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I put it like this. I do see what you're saying. Like I said before, this is experimental, and we shall see how it goes. Right. All right.
Well, thanks for listening. But I appreciate you, big bro.
One thing I'll say is, and Kevin Samuels showed it better. If you watch his evolution, showed it better than anybody. The more attractive you can present, not just your argument, but your aesthetic of what you represent, the better results will be. If you understand what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
So we'll see. Like I said, this is evolving, but I understand what you're saying. But I want to attract a core people to help build the platform, and then maybe we'll make some adjustments along the way as it goes. So I just said like that, but I'm taking. I understand your concerns. I understand what you're saying as far as maybe trying to expand the outreach. So I will take that into consideration.
My brother, appreciate you. Straight black pride, or BB4ODA.
All right, brother, BB4ODA. So that is the good brother Desaline. And as we see, he followed the rules of the show, which I always appreciate very much. So that made the show worthwhile for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's our good brother who is always 100% supported the movement for as long as I know, and done good work and has fought the good fight, because he has definitely faced opposition where he is with what he's trying to do. So with that, brothers and sisters, unless I'm gonna do going once, going twice, I'll give you 5 minutes. Then after that, I am out here. But I appreciate that dialogue. Yeah, this Saturday, don't forget, Brother Jenny will be in Baltimore, and August 17th, we will have our convention. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am DC Radical 1, and with that, I say a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.